me, and I'm the owner and creator here at Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another soap making video. Today I'm going to be using a fragrance oil called Sun and Sand Type from Nature's Garden. It's got notes of white flower, bergamot, orange blossom, ylang ylang, lily and musk. And to me it smells like a really nice sort of sunscreen that doesn't have those copper and coconut undertones to it. Because of this, I really envisaged walking along a beach, and I wanted to kind of create that sort of scene. So for this soap, I'm going to keep the base very simple with one colour, but I'm going to add in some Mica Lines just to give it a little bit of interest. And then for the top of it, I wanted to actually look like the edge of the beach with some waves crashing over. And I have been waiting on a stamp to come through from eBay, which finally arrived this week, and I'm going to use that hopefully to decorate the top. So let's go and make this soap. Alright, for today's soap, I have decided I am going to add in some oat milk. I really liked the colour that my last oat milk soap went, and I really like the texture and feel of it as well. It is nice and creamy, and what I'm going to do is give that a bit of a mix just to incorporate that into my oils. I will then pour my lye water solution into the bucket, and I am going to split off a little bit for some colour once I've got this emulsified. Okay, so I haven't mixed that too much because I really want to keep a portion of this nice and liquid so that I have plenty of working time with it. What I'm going to do is pour off about 2 cups of this soap to go on the very top of it when we are done. So I'm just going to pop that bit off to one side. Into my main bucket here, I am going to add in some Grandeur Mica to get that sort of sandy coloured look. So I'll mix that in, and I will also add in my fragrance oil. So we have got that Sun and Sand. It's got 0.002% vanillin, so really not very much. But if it does go that sort of tan colour, that will be great because it will really blend in with that sort of sand sort of theme. So let's get this bit mixed in, and then we will start pouring. Alright, so I have mixed that quite a bit. That fragrance oil really thinned the trace out, and I need this to be a little bit thicker for the technique that we're going to do with this one. So just get my stick blender all cleaned off. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I have got my mould here. I've got a couple of little pots, and I'm just going to rest it up on its side. Make sure that you guys can still see. I'm going to put my little cleaning rag across here just so it doesn't slip. First thing I'm going to do is pour myself a portion of this into my mould, and I'm not worried if it's straight or lumpy bumpy or anything like that. I just want this to go in kind of diagonal layers. So I'll just pop that down the back, give that a shuffle. I'm just going to grab a teaspoon. This is a stainless steel teaspoon. I'm just going to move that around a little bit just to give it a bit of texture. And right, so I'm happy with how that is looking there. What I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to start with some Blueberry Delight Mica. I have a tea strainer here. I'm going to scoop some up and into my tea strainer. And I am just going to gently tap that all over the top to give a nice thick mica coating. You don't want it so thick that when you put your next layer of soap on it can't stick together, because then you do end up with your layers falling apart. But you want it thick enough that you're going to be able to see that mica line in the actual finished soap. So our first layer is on there. I'm not too bothered if not all of the soap has been covered. What I'm now going to do is grab some more of this. This is actually thickening up quite well in here. It looks very thick actually. So what I'm going to do is just spoon this in over the top like so, and then I'm going to add my next color Mica Line, which will be some Cool Vista Blue. So I'm going to give that a bit of a shake, a bit of a knockdown. I will grab my spoon again, and I'm just going to add a little bit more texture to the top here. Alright, so we've got texture on that one. Again, I've got my Cool Vista. I have my tea strainer. I'm just going to grab some of that up with my spoon measure. Whoops. And again, I'm going to dust the very top of my soap. It's not often I get a soap batter that kind of goes this thick on me, but at least for this technique, this is exactly what I wanted it to do, so that is really good. So let's keep popping that one in. Alright, I'm going to give that a knockdown. I don't think there's any point in actually putting it up and down on the containers there, because this is so thick it is just going to sit wherever it's told to. So I'm going to put some more of those little divots in there, because I don't want those straight lines, which is a good job considering how thick this one has gone on me, but it just gives it that little bit more interest. For my next Mica Line, I have got some aquamarine. I'm just going to get my tea strainer cleaned out. So when I first smelt this fragrance oil, I actually saw the inside of this soap as being really plain and simple, but I really didn't want to just do, you know, 2 different tones of gold as a drop swirl or something else. I wanted to try something that little bit different. So I thought maybe doing this Mica Line would be a really good different sort of approach. I'm pretty pleased actually that this has gone thick on me, because it means that what I've got planned for the top is going to work, hopefully, I say. But we'll see. Let's get that bit more of that aquamarine in there. Let's get another layer on. This is still really, really thick, but it is still actually workable. So we're just going to pop this next layer on. I'm going to give it a good knockdown to get rid of any air bubbles. I'm going to put a final Mica Line on, and then we're going to do the top. I'm going to do a final Mica Line with that blueberry mica again. So let's pop that one on there, and then we'll get on to the top. Okay, so we've got all of our soap into the mold there, so I'm just going to push that one back out the way. I'm going to come back to this pot and grab a spoon. This has gone thick, but I know as soon as I add that fragrance oil, this is going to thin back out for me. So I'll give that a bit of a mix there. Let's add in our fragrance oil and give it a stir. I'm not going to stick blend it because I want this to actually go nice and thin so we can get a nice top. So let's give that a good stir in there, and then we'll split it out for a few little colours. First thing I'm going to do is split out just a very small amount in there, which I will put some titanium dioxide into. Into this cup here, we'll get rid of the little stirring stick. In there, we're going to pour a bit off in here. Whoops, I'm hoping I have left myself enough for what I want to do. In here, I have got some of that aquamarine, so we'll pour some of that one off. And then I also have that Cool Vista. So what we're going to do is get those colours stirred in. So we've got that one all mixed in. What I'm going to do first of all, hopefully that stays nice and fluid, we are going to first of all pour this sandy coloured one, and because it is quite thick, what I'm hoping to be able to do is pour it onto the one side of my mold here, so it looks like we have the beach, and hopefully we've got plenty in here. It looks like we will have. Let's get this one completely scraped out. As I said, I'm trying to keep it on this 1/2 of my soap here, and I'm trying not to bring any of that blue mica through up to the top, so I'm just being very, very careful, helping to spread that out just a little bit. All right, so that is out, looking really good. Now what I'm going to do, using this same jug, because why not, I'm going to pour these in here and make a in the pot swirl, and I want this to look like the ocean crashing up onto the beach. So let's get all of these fully scraped out and into this jug. So when I pictured this soap in my head, I really didn't picture it to be this messy to actually create. I thought it would be so simple, but no, I've somehow managed to make a really simple design, extremely messy, and it probably looks like it's really hard and complicated too, but hopefully it will all be well worth it once we get this one cut open. I am loving these blue colours, and I want this to kind of represent, as I said, the ocean crashing up onto the beach, because whenever I think of sun and sand, I always think of walking along a really nice beach and leaving your footprints behind in the sand. So let's get this now poured into this half. So I'm going to just gently pour, and it's going to fill up all those little divots that we've made with the spoon. And I'm going to kind of wiggle it across the top here so it looks like it's in different patterns. Really pleased with how that bit's come together. So with this white that I've got in here, I am going to just gently pour it along the very edge, because I didn't really need a lot. So I'm just going to come where the sort of blue and the sand meet. I'm just going to put just a little bit. Some are going to have a bit more than others, but what I want this to look like is the foam crashing up onto the beach. So hopefully we've got enough in there. I think we've got just enough coming out. It's thickened up a little bit more than what I needed it to do this, but we will make do. So I don't know if it's the oat milk that's setting this up quick, or whether it's the fragrance oil. Sometimes those milks, just with their natural sugars that you get in them, will actually speed up trace on your soap. So I think that is looking really good there. Just might put a little bit more of that white along there. We will clean off my stick here, and I'm just going to swirl that through, give it that sort of look of foam swirling through the water. Alright, so I'm really pleased with how that is looking so far. What I need to do is let this set up just a little bit more, and you guys are probably thinking, yeah, but that's really thick, how much more set up do you want it? I want it set up just that little bit more, because I've got a stamp to go on the top of here. Just going to give it a gentle knockdown. That's it. The idea is you can't see it from here, but some of that white is actually sitting higher than my sand colour, so it really does look like I've got a wave crashing over the beach here. I'm really, really pleased with how that has come together. So as I said, I'm going to leave this one sit here just to firm up a little bit more. I'm going to clean up some of this mess, and then I'm going to come back and do the one last final thing for this soap. I've had this soap sitting here for quite some time now, and I really am hoping that it is firmed up enough and that this idea is really going to work. What I found on eBay were these little fondant stamps, and there were little hands, like you got the left and right and the big and a small, and also what you got in them, as you can see from here, are some little footprints as well. You got a big and a little, a left and right. My sort of idea for it was, when I thought of Sun and Sound, was I wanted to create something with footprints going through it. So I ordered these stamps in, and I am really hoping this is going to work. I think I've got it now set up enough that I should be able to do something with it, but we'll just wait and see if it actually does work or if it's not. I'm actually going to remove that out of the way now because it's starting to get in my way. What I'm going to do is take my big one, and this is the left footprint. I'm going to spray it with some rubbing alcohol so it doesn't stick in my soap, and I'm just going to very gently push down on the top of my bar of soap. And I was hoping to get 2 footprints on each, but I just don't think it is going to work. Now, I realise you guys didn't actually really see that bit. You will see the others as I do it. So again, I've given it a spray. I'm actually going to spray the top of my soap as well, and that will help with any soda ash that might be forming. So I'm just going to very gently push down on the top. Some of them are going to be a little bit squished, but we'll just pretend that the waves have actually come up and distorted those footprints. I'm just pushing down. I'm trying not to get the round of the soap stamp in here, but I'm not convinced it's going to work, which is such a shame, especially after all the dramas I've been through to get these soap stamps. I am over eBay, just completely and utterly over it. Before I get into that, I think I'm just going to put random footprints on here actually, because I don't think they're going to work the way I wanted. But as I said, I am so completely over eBay now. I ordered these. They looked like they were an Australian seller. It was meant to be coming in from Sydney, which if it was, it should only have taken 2 days. They're sort of shipping estimates showed that it was only going to take 2 days, and you know what, I ordered and they shipped within the day of me ordering, and I thought, oh great, I found someone that is really quite trustworthy and I'm going to get these in time. 2 weeks later, I still haven't received my my order, and there were several things in the order. This was just one of them. And I double checked the listing and it said that it had been sent. They gave me the tracking number. And when I looked at the tracking number, it said it was coming with a courier and that it had been delivered. And when I looked further into it, it said it had been delivered to a Sydney address. And I'm thinking, well, that's funny because I'm in Brisbane and I know my address is correct. So I don't understand why this has been delivered. I wrote to them and I explained, you know, I think it's had the wrong address, and I've had the whole, please wait 4 more days, and if it's not, then we'll send it. And I said, no, you're not listening. You've sent it to the wrong address. I need it resent now. We're going backwards and forwards, and then all of a sudden it turns up. But not only does it actually turn up, it turns up sent with Australia Post, not the courier that they claimed that they used. And it also, there's a certain way that drop shipping labels are done through Australia Post, so you know that it has actually been drop shipped here in Australia and then sent on to the Australian address, which explains why it took almost 2.5 weeks for me to actually get my order. The really annoying thing is I then put fair feedback on there. I said that the product is really good, because at the end of the day the molds are really good. They were good quality and all the rest of it. But I've said that that they're not in Sydney. They were quite deceitful about how they sent this, and I probably won't order from them again. And now I've had half a dozen emails from them saying, please change your feedback. Please change your feedback. It's like, no, like, I'm not going to lie so that someone else falls into the same trap that I did through having some, you know, good feedback on their page. It's not fair that they can actually push and harass you into changing your feedback because they don't like the fact that you've left a fair feedback to them. So I'm now in the probably going to wait and see how many more emails I get before I actually lodge them as being harassing me. But basically I've given up on ordering on eBay because of it. You can never get decent products. They all lie about their actual locations, and it's just really frustrating. Now, the footprints haven't quite worked as I wanted, but you kind of get the general idea. I'm just going to give this another really good spritz, and I will bring you down so you can have a look at our Sun and Sand soap. So here is Sun and Sand up close. You can see that some of the footprints have really turned out. The stamp's probably a little bit too fine detailed for how thick the soap actually is and how textured. I'm really happy with the top though, because it does look like we've got the beach and the ocean just crashing up on top of it, and I can't wait to get it cut open and see what we've got on the inside of this one. So I'll leave it sit here overnight, and we'll come back and we'll cut it and we'll have a look at those mica lines. Okay, I am back to cut open Sun and Sand, and I'm not going to lie, I am a little bit disappointed with it so far. I'm hoping once I get it cut open it's going to be very different. You can see I've got a few air bubbles on the side of this, so I'm hoping we don't have too many on the inside. If we do, it is an easy fix. I have made a video about how I fix this, and I'll leave that linked up the top for you. Now, I was really disappointed with how the little footprints came up on the top, and after I'd stopped filming and done all my other soaps, I thought, well, top can't look any worse than it does. So I went through and I smoothed out the top, and I had another go at doing the footprints. And what I ended up doing is I sprayed the top of the soap quite liberally with rubbing alcohol. I sprayed my stamp, and then rather than gently pushing into the soap as I did on camera, I just went bang and lifted it up, and all these little footprints started to appear. So I was a little bit excited about that. So that has kind of really made up for that. What I'm going to do is cut end pieces off this one, because that will be what I use to do the filling in of all those little air pockets if we do have them. So we'll cut that piece off like so, and we'll go through and we'll see what it looks like on the inside of this one. And each of those bars are going to get a couple of little footprints walking along the beach there. So we're almost through, and let's take a look at the inside. So we'll grab this end piece. In fact, no, I won't grab that one because it doesn't have any footprints on. Let's go for this one in the middle here. And that is the inside of my Sun and Sand. So those mica lines have come up beautifully. I am very pleased to see there is hardly any, in fact there are no air pockets, just on the sides here, which I will fix up with a little bit of that soap dough. As I said, I've left the link up in the top so you can see how I do it. I like that you can just see that sort of water coming in. It's almost like it's a sandbar, and you've got just that edge of water popping in and over the top, and that is the top of the soap. You can see those couple of little footprints walking along just as the water is about to touch them. So after I said I was so disappointed in this one, I'm really pleased with how it has come up. It's just such a simple design on the inside, and the top of it is just so cute. I do have a tiny little air pocket there, but this one is going to be nice and easy to fix up because it is just that one colour of soap. I am so pleased with that now. Those little footprints, they are so cute on there, and I really like how that sort of water really does look like there is a wave just coming up onto the beach there. So these will pretty much be all the same all the way through. Again, this piece is quite bad for the air pocket, but that, again, nice and easy to fix up. Really love how those mica lines really stand out on them, and using those 3 different coloured blues just really make that pop. So as I said, all these bars are pretty much going to be the same, so I'm not going to go through and show you every single one here. I hope you've enjoyed watching how I make my Sun and Sand soap. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. If you've got any questions, I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And if you've got any suggestions for soaps that you'd like to see me make, why not leave them down below as well. So until the next video, I hope you have a great one, and I will see you then. Bye.